As I mentioned in one of my very first videos, I also want to do reviews that are not solely dedicated to science fiction or space operas, of which I have been uploading quite a lot of lately. So today I will start to take a detailed look at alternate history novels, more specifically one of the most popular scenarios of this literary subgenre. What if the Axis won World War II? My first foray into this broad topic is the 259-page long The Man in the High Castle, written by Philip K. Dick in the year 1962. The Man in the High Castle can also be categorized, similar to the other science fiction novels, using some adjusted semi-objective metrics. In particular, the sci-fi Mohs scale is replaced by a metric related to the historic plausibility of the presented fictional history of the plot. A high score in this category indicates that the author has taken great care to establish a fictional universe insofar that it is historically plausible. In contrast, a low score indicates that vague or unrealistic assumptions are underlying the fictional scenario, which, similar to the sci-fi hardness, should not be interpreted as a judgment related to the overall quality of the discussed book. With regards to the adjusted semi-objective metrics, The Man in the High Castle scores on the low end of the historic plausibility scale, since a nearly complete victory of Germany and Japan, especially including an occupation of vast parts of North America, is quite unlikely. Even if the reason for the deviation from the real historic timeline is considered. In addition, the actual reason given for the Axis winning in itself is quite unrealistic, to put it mildly. The fictional world that Philip K. Dick constructs is reasonably vast and detailed, doubly so since we get two for the price of one. The Man in the High Castle paved the way when it comes to this popular alternate history scenario with a victorious Axis. And apart from this specific aspect, Philip K. Dick delivers further interesting concepts and ideas, such as the use of the I Ching clairomancy or parallel dimensions. Furthermore, the dramatis personae in The Man in the High Castle has to be placed in the middle of the range, with its roughly 12 main and side characters. Regarding its critical reception, The Man in the High Castle won the Hugo Award for Best Novel in the year 1963, and years, actually decades later, the Terti Valteia Award in 1993. Its popular reception, with a combined rating of 3.7 out of 5 stars, based on thousands of reviews on aggregation websites such as Goodreads, LibraryThing or Amazon, is rather mixed, and I will delve deeper into the shortcomings of The Man in the High Castle later. The novel was adapted several times as unabridged audiobooks, but more importantly, Amazon Studios greenlit in total 4 seasons of The Man in the High Castle. The first episode, aired in January 2015, was Amazon's most watched pilot ever. Philip K. Dick thought about writing a sequel to The Man in the High Castle, but the novels, supposedly continuing the story, morphed into independent standalone books, and he ultimately never published an actual sequel. The story takes place in an alternate 1962 in which the US tried to stay neutral in World War II. As a result, the Axis were able to overwhelm the other allies, divided up the rest of the world, and eventually invaded North America, partitioning it into spheres of influence. The Pacific states dominated by Japan, the former Eastern United States by Germany, and a neutral zone that roughly comprises the Rocky Mountains. Other Axis nations, such as Italy, secured a vast empire in North Africa, and Franquist Spain annexed Portugal and Morocco. The story intertwines the lives of various individuals, including Juliana Frink, a woman living in Cannon City, Colorado, Frank Frink, her estranged husband, who tries to make a living in Japanese-controlled San Francisco, or Mr. Tagomi, a Japanese trade official with a deep interest in traditional Japanese culture. These characters become entangled in a web of political intrigue when they encounter a banned novel called The Grasshopper Lies Heavy, which presents an alternate history in which the Allies won World War II. Furthermore, the internal power struggle within the German government after the sudden death of de facto leader Martin Bormann threatens to cause a full-scale nuclear war between Germany and Japan. Obviously, this would threaten the entire world and needs to be averted at all cost. Overall, The Man in the High Castle is a classic when it comes to alternate history novels in which the Axis won World War II, even though it also paved the way for the disregard of historical plausibility that is often observed in alternate history projects. One noteworthy aspect in The Man in the High Castle is the inclusion of a quote-unquote pocket alternate history that describes a timeline where the Allies won World War II, which, as mentioned before, is within the banned novel called The Grasshopper Lies Heavy. But this reality is not the way you think it might be. It is actually a third reality that also deviates from historic reality. However, Philip K. Dick's writing style might not be to everyone's liking. As mentioned, the ideas and concepts are more often than not unique and intriguing, at least with the novels I have read from him. But also, the plot can come off as meandering and self-indulgent with too little happening, in my opinion. These shortcomings are likely the main reason for the rather mediocre ratings on the various review aggregator sites. Should this not be a deterrent to you, then you should have no hesitation in picking up this groundbreaking novel that paved the way for an entire subgenre of science fiction. If you liked this video, you may also enjoy the other reviews and content on my channel. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to discuss the novels or if you want to suggest other books that I should review in the future. Please consider upvoting and subscribing, it is much appreciated. Thank you for watching and until next time.